Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you're tuning in. Welcome to another episode. Today I want to talk about judging people, okay? In our minds, just from past experiences and collected beliefs and things that we have from visualizations and looking at things and finding out what they are, we could make snap judgments, not just about people, but also about things. Like a good example is a window. You don't look at a glass window and wonder what it is. You know it's a window. You look at a TV, you don't judge what it or question what it is, because we know from past experience we know what that is. So the snap judgment is, hey, that's a TV right away, because we can put that together. A power button on a device, if we look at a power button, we know what that is, so we can quickly make a snap judgment, that's a power button, and we know what that power button is. Well, the opportunity here with us is we make snap judgments about people. This is a common opportunity in sales as well that I've encountered. So most of my background has been in some sort of sales or dealing with people, and really, actually, I like to call it communication, right? Sometimes, though, people will make a snap judgment on a person and think that they can't afford this, right? And then they'll cater their presentation according to that snap judgment that they can't afford it. Or they'll look at somebody and say maybe it's a job interview, that person's not good for the job. Oh, because they look right away when the person walks in the room. That's why first impressions are so powerful, because we naturally make snap judgments of other people, because we know what certain things look like. So when somebody comes dressed in that type of package, automatically we make a snap judgment and put that person in that position. And we should not judge a book by its cover. So I have had this go wrong multiple times. I've seen people fail with it miserably by judging the book by its cover. One of them I've seen is walking into a place of business and outside sales, and I've seen salesmen ask for the owner or the manager, and the person that they asked is the owner or the manager. Well, that usually doesn't turn out so well, because you automatically made a snap judgment thinking that that person is not. So that's one of the things that can hurt you instead of helping you when you're judging other people just by the way they look and by the presentation. The other thing is when we judge people for where they're at in life. You haven't walked in their shoes. I have a buddy of mine that was a good friend that I grew up with that actually passed away this week. And, other people might see him and judge him for where he was at in life, instead of trying to help him. And that's really the point that I want to get across here. Instead of judging people, help them. You haven't walked in their shoes. You have no idea what they're going through. Instead of judging people, try helping people. The easy thing to do is to make fun of people, is to laugh at them or join in the crowd, because a lot of people do it. I'm guilty of this. I've won awards in the past for making fun of people. So my snap judgments and quick witted thinking on making fun of people comes naturally to me, because I've trained myself to be able to do that for years and years and years. So now I'm fighting the opposite of trying to overcome that, but literally, looking at people and things, I can make pretty quick snap judgments, as can everybody. They just might be in different ways. So my message here is, instead of putting people down or making snap judgments that are wrong and putting people in a certain place, why don't you try helping them? Try bringing them up. Put some positivity there. Don't join in the crowd of people, laughing at somebody or making fun of somebody. Look, the person that is severely overweight, they don't want to be overweight. It's not their goal to get laughed at and made fun of by everybody. I mean, I've met people, it's a problem that they're dealing with. Well, guess what? We all have problems. The difference between the problems that you or I may have and that overweight person has is you could see one of theirs and they can't see yours. But we're all dealing with problems. So don't make a snap judgment and make fun of somebody. You have no idea where they're at in their life. And instead of making fun of them, try to help them. So this is a very tough habit for a lot of people, because we all do it automatically. Become conscious of it when you're making these judgments against people, and realize what you're doing. So judging people like that. I mean, it's just wrong. And a lot of us have been conditioned to do that herd mentality. You get around a group of people and they're all making the same snap judgment. It's just bad. So if it's bad for one person, then likely it's bad for everybody. If everybody in the world did that, would the world be a better place? I want to say Jim Rohn might have said that. If you're going to do something and everybody did that, what would happen to the world? And if the answer is that it's going to be really, really bad, then don't do that, right? Don't do that thing. So again, try helping some people out. Generally, the easier thing to do is usually the wrong thing to do. I'm going to say that again. The easier thing to do is usually the wrong thing to do. So do the harder things, right? Get those things out of the way and make a difference, and you'll see that your life will transform accordingly. Most people will avoid the difficult things to do. Some people will lie because it's easier than telling the truth. Some people will, they'll avoid exercise, or they'll avoid, things that they know that they need to do because it's the harder thing to do. Admitting that you're wrong. Sometimes that's the harder thing to do, so we don't do it. We'd rather hold on and make sure that the other person's wrong, or hold a grudge, or have a problem, instead of admitting that we were wrong, because it's the harder thing to do. So that's a good conscious guide for you when you're in a decision-making process with something serious. Maybe it's with a relationship or a person or communication. Maybe you're a leader. And when you look at and evaluate the situation, a lot of times I have found that the easier thing to do is usually the wrong thing to do, and it's more difficult to make the right decision, right? Just like weeds grow naturally, and it's harder to have a nice, perfect lawn than it is to than it is to have one full of weeds, because they're just natural. Okay. Another thing that I found here is, or that's come to sight recently a lot, is a Bible verse, and I don't have the verse memorized, and I'm going to paraphrase, but it says, before you point out the wood chip in somebody else's eye, pull the plank out of your own eye. And that really resonated with me, because I've got, probably a whole house, not just a plank in my eye that I'm working on. And I'm sure there's things that you can work on too. And another thing that went along with that, that I got, actually, I was on an airplane recently. I might have said this on a previous video. It's good information either way. Is it said, they say they do the safety, check before you take off, and they go over all the safety stuff. And they say, hey, before you help somebody else put on their mask, put your own mask on first. Then you'll be able to help others. So in essence, it's saying, be the example and not a hypocrite. Somewhat that's what I get out of it. Or get your own stuff straight on that specific thing before you, try to get other people straight. Moral of the story, try helping people instead of judging them. I know judging people is super easy. We look at them and judge them right away, and the cool crowd, and how that is made to be cool, of making fun of and mistreating people and laughing at people or kicking people while they're down, is just wrong. And together we really just got to change the culture around that. And it's a process. So again, instead of judging people, try helping them. If this resonated with you at all, added any value whatsoever, please hit the like button, share it, subscribe, and until next time, thanks for tuning in.